Any doubts, anybody, till the point, the last section of the presentation? Anyone has any doubts? Okay, Soumya Ranjan has a doubt. Uh, okay, he asks, sir, should we think like a graduate or more than that? Not more than that. Please don't think more than a graduate. Um, Graduate level is enough. Even sociology, although I have advanced degrees and any faculty across India, actually, any faculty, although we have advanced degrees, for UPSC you need to come down. You can't think. Okay, a common misconception that people have is UPSC is the toughest exam. The more you read, the more you write, the better marks. It doesn't work that way. There is a particular place, there is a zone in which UPSC operates, and you need to stick to that zone. And that is one of the things that I will try to teach you. You need to deal with sociology like a civil servant, not like a sociologist who does very different things. We learn sociology so that it will help us solve tomorrow's social problems like poverty, hunger, unemployment, education. These are all social problems, and we deal with all of them in sociology. The thing is, it should help us address those issues, not that we don't want to become a sociologist. And yeah, we need to remain at graduate level and not more than that, not researcher, not specialist.
Sir, like there are many topics which have overlap with GS subjects now, sir. For example, land reforms in economy. So,
Yes.
can we use the concepts learned in sociology while writing answers in economy or other subjects?
Okay. If you try to read land reforms like economics,
Yes, sir.
you won't get marks, or you will get lesser marks than if you write it as a sociologist.
Okay.
Yeah, because see, when you talk about land reforms, the problem is an economist or a geographer. Geography also deals with land reforms because land use, it has land use, one of the most important of. So those are two disciplines that deal with land reforms. So geography and economics. The thing is, in both those disciplines, any discipline you take, they are going to be very specific. You know, Deepika, mute your this thing. I can hear an echo.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Uh, the thing is, for instance, how do you actually understand land reforms in as economics, from an economics discipline point of view, which is not what you do in Indian economy. You are actually given a more sociological understanding. Land reform का problem है. One is how do we distribute land now? Landless laborers and people with land, unlike in Europe, in other countries, economics deals with land reforms as a discipline. Now, discipline, because all disciplines are born in Europe, they take European context and American context and things like that. Now, there, people with land and landless, when you're talking about that, you're talking about rich people and poor people. This is a continuity of their medieval system where they used to have landlords and serfs. Okay, people, peasants who used to work on the land, majority, 90% of the society, and landlords. So their land reforms are targeting how do we distribute land, and whether it's their economics or whether it is their public administration or whether it is their geography, it tries to understand it. Geography, so it understands from what is land use, what is it used for, what is agriculture, what is non-agriculture, agricultural land, how do you then how do you then divide it. So it's a very very soil level, very topographical, very geological kind of that that level of specialization it comes, which is obviously not relevant for a general studies paper. But even economics, the way it deals with it is, it goes into how best to break it, how best to distribute, how best to make reforms from a highly economic point of view. The problem is in India that landless and land is embedded in caste system. Few castes are landowning castes, and a lot of other castes are cannot own lands. They don't have lands. It is rooted in patriarchy. In India, men hold titles of lands, women don't. Class is anyway there. Now, if you're general studies answer does not reflect these dimensions of caste, patriarchy, class kind of things, and if it only gives an economics answer or a geography answer, it is not going to work, or you will not. So the model answer for that kind of a question will have a very general, which is why it is part of general studies. It is not. And last time also, okay, I don't know if you're there on the mentoring group. It is not economics. It is Indian economy. You know, so the thing is, a sociologist will be able to, or your answer should reflect all these dimensions, which are, like I said, because we don't want to become an economist or a geographer. What we want is a civil servant, and a civil servant recognizes that those technical disciplines can't be used directly in real field. In real field, there are other social parameters, constraints that are there, and unless you appreciate those constraints, which sociology teaches you to appreciate, because that is the subject matter of sociology as an optional and as a discipline. Therefore, those things get reflected in your answer, which is why land reforms, an answer written by a guy who has done sociology paper to Indian society. In Indian society, you have Indian economy, Indian polity, Indian religion, Indian marriage system, Indian caste system. In that, there is also Indian economy. There is a section in paper two, which is Indian economy. When you are able to answer that from that vantage point, you are at a much better you're in a much better position to answer it, as opposed to say you were an economics optional student. When you write it, it becomes very technical. But a sociology guy will write it in a generic way, which is why, but with a lot of clarity, because you know all these points, because it is your optional. I mean, you have a certain, you've spent more hours on it, and therefore it's going to fetch you more marks. Now unmute and tell me, did I answer the question? Yeah.
Yeah, sir. Yeah, that was my doubt.
Okay. Should we read this subject at master level or graduate level? You don't read it at any level. I'm going to, in the next slide, tell you what are the sources. There are only 4 sources. You stick to that. And my class notes. That's it. Don't go beyond that. It is not necessary. Uh, Usually, this will be at an undergrad honors level. Exactly that. But okay. When I say undergrad honors level, I am talking about UPSC level undergrad's honor level, which is what UPSC notification says. So, um, not really master's level. No, master's is too nuanced and too tangential. The problem, please understand, when you go to master's level, feminism, take a topic. It will be there in sociology. We'll deal with it, patriarchy, feminism, and things like that. Now, what is feminism? Roughly, say, 3 kinds of feminism. There is liberal feminism, which is basically men. This is the first wave of feminism. Men and women are equal. Yeah, equal rights with men. Now, that is something all feminists will say, but why? And the why is, in liberal feminism, men and women are equal, but they are different. Just because I do household chores or raise children, and the male goes out to the office and brings money, he, within the household or between the two of us, there shouldn't be a power dynamic. He shouldn't think that he can dictate to me. Yes, he is getting salary, but he is able to get the salary because I've taken care of the household. Okay, so that is one. Two, adult franchise. Why should only men vote? Women also can vote. So the public spaces, the political spaces are equalized. Okay, that is liberal feminism. Now you come to Marxist feminism, which is a very particular brand of feminism. It says all labor, it says women's labor also should be paid, basically. So, again, it is another way to approach it. If you hired a cook, a cleaner, a launderer, child caretakers are very expensive. Even in India, they're very expensive. If you were to actually provide remuneration, wages for all these services that a typical earlier generation women used to provide in their houses, housewives used to provide, Marxists will say, pay them. The male should That is their right. You're not giving a charity to them. You're not taking care of them. What nonsense. I mean, they are doing work like the way you do. If they were doing it in the market, they would have been paid. So you should pay them. And if you pay them, then distribute equally. Then it is equality that way. So this is one way to look at it. Then there is radical feminism, which is the society as a whole is. I'm going into detail deliberately. I know this is an overview class. I'm going into deliberate also to give you a taste of what sociology is like. Now, what are the topics we are going to discuss? We are going to discuss this topic in this way when this is part of the syllabus. So, just to give you a taste, like how does it feel? Now, radical feminism is interesting. Radical feminism says the society as a whole is ordered or is structured based on masculine traits, okay, such as hyper competitiveness, such as aggression. And they argue that these traits are toxic. They are not good for the society. Or they have, so radical feminists will say actually they are not good for the society. They are hopeless. We need cooperation, not competition. We need compassion, not aggression. And they will argue that the feminine is actually, you have to infuse organizations, social groups, relationships, society as a whole should actually privilege feminine qualities over masculine qualities if you want a better society. So what they are arguing is not that man and woman are equal. They're actually saying women are better than men, and society should actually give space. I'm really watering down this part because this is to understand and to discuss this. You need some background concepts which we haven't covered. So I'm simplifying it. It's almost a caricature. It's almost a cartoon version of what actual radical feminism is. I'm doing it because you just get the idea for now. It's not this thing. So radical feminism goes something like that. Now, till here, okay. This is graduate level, what you will study. When a question comes in the syllabus, when a question comes in UPSC, you are expected to write to this level and stop it. At master's level, you have more nuanced concepts such as lesbian feminism. Why women should marry only women and stop marrying men. Marriage as an institution itself should be removed. That's also part of radical feminism. But here there are concepts for it, or there is a concept called heteronormativity, which is basically saying that why only male female marriages, why should that alone be the normal, and why there is a problem in the society because that is normal. And they will say same sex marriages are actually better for the society. Okay, now this is at a graduate level, at a real graduate level. Okay, if you start writing answers like this is too radical for UPSC. Like I said, they are not trying to take sociologists or researchers. They are trying to take civil servants. Okay, the exam is designed to recruit civil servants who can work with it. These ideas are way too advanced and unnecessary. The problem is if you start writing these points, you will not have space to write more basic points, graduate level points, and that is going to cost you. You are not going to get the score, which is why you should keep your answer to the graduate level and not go to postgraduate level. This is one example. I can give you any example and I can show you how postgraduate level they go tangential, and by using those words and those technical concepts in your answer, you will not have space to address the more simpler but basic concept. And because that is not there, you're not going to get marks for what you wrote. You're going to get marks for what you're going to lose marks for what you didn't write. Okay, because there is a model answer, and the closer your answer is to the model answer, the more score you get. Something which nobody knows, you have brought it and written it, and therefore you are going to. That is not how UPSC works. Don't have these fantasies in your head. If you write something which nobody else wrote, you're going to get marks. That's not how it works. There is a clear guidelines. There are clear, model answers kind of things. And the closer you stick to the answer that is given to you, the more score you get. Which is why you need to stay at graduate level and not write all unnecessary things. So will questions come on basis of current affairs? Generally not. No. Shailaja has asked if the questions in sociology paper one or paper two come based on current affairs. Usually not. No. Uh, there may be a one-off question, but usually you are equipped because that question has to fit into the syllabus. And because syllabus we will cover thoroughly, you should be able to answer the question. Not a problem. Say tomorrow a question came on, um, there was this 2 years back, Tutukudi. Okay, forget about Tutukudi. Say there is a question on farm laws. Okay, recent farm laws. Why will there be a question? Because there is a conflict that happened recently, and in Delhi there was a protest and all of that. Now we will do. If it is coming based on current affairs, the event will be very, very big. I mean, it is not an event that you would have missed. Forget about reading for current affairs. Generally, it will be an event that is big. You are not expected to write the details of the event. So, for instance, say the Delhi incident that happened, you will not be expected to say what are the farm laws, what was the laws that were suggested, what were the people protesting. You will not write it at that level. What you will do, which is why I said I use the word sociology is a nomothetic discipline. I use the word. It means loss. It means LAWS loss. It means uh, what we will do is we will see what are land reforms, we would have done it, and what are farm laws. You will very generically write. If there is a problem with the agrarian structure in India, the agrarian structure, that's a topic. You will mention a few things about agrarian structure. You will say how the farm laws were trying to address it, and you will say why there is a resistance. That will come in the protest topic. So basically you will not, even if say one question is inspired by an event, current event, very, very rare, once in a year, one question probably, even if that is the case, you should be able to answer it very comfortably with the knowledge that is given. And you will not be addressing current affair details. You will not say this. No, no, no. That's not how it works. You will have to still write a sociological answer to it. And you should be able to do it. Not a problem. Any other questions? Sir, are these resources for both? Yes, these are for both paper one and paper two. So paper two almost, I mean, it's very, very simple. Yeah. Almost all of it will get it from IGNOU. Don't worry. Harlambos and Ritzer both are mostly for paper one. Again, there is not such a strict division. We will use a little bit of paper one also in paper two. Yeah. Yeah, this is the sources that I said are for both paper one and paper two. You don't have to go beyond it. Believe me, you don't have to go. Don't waste your time. Don't unnecessarily. I mean, you can easily get a 300 score with that. Why do you want to go? And the problem is, you imagine because it's a difficult subject, the more I read, the more I write, the more marks you get. That is not how it works. If you say there is a question, the model answer will, for the evaluator, there'll be a model answer that says these 10 points have to be there. If you don't write any of the 10 points, you're not going to get marks. But because you read more, you're going to write nice, interesting points, but they're all very tangential, they're very marginal. But because you're writing those points, you, out of the 10 points, you can write only 5 points, and 5 you're writing new points that maybe nobody has written. But the problem is you're not going to get marks. You will only get marks if you write those 10 points, the points that are core to that question. And that core is simple. Don't imagine if I read more, I'm going to get more marks. That is not how it works. So stick to this, and this is both for paper one and paper two, that much. And even that, not everything. Don't read the entire Ritzer book or don't read the entire Harlem book. I'll only tell you sections. You can read them. Read the entire NCRT book if you want. IGNO, you can read if you want the entire BA, that too, topics that are relevant. For that section, there'll be a small booklet. That booklet you can read. Say women empowerment. On women empowerment, there'll be a booklet. You can read the entire booklet if you want. In IGNO, it will be a small booklet. You can read it. That is all right. Yeah. Can you please explain how the term bureaucracy is used in different aspects? Okay. That's almost a technical question, but so bureaucracy, bureau means cabinet. Okay. Whenever you go to an office, government office, you'll see a typical table. The babu sits on a table and there'll be drawers. Those drawers are cabinets, and that is the power comes from that cabinet, from that bureau. Bureau is like a cupboard. It's like cabinet. It's where you put your files. And in those files and on that table is power, which is bureaucracy. Now, that bureaucracy is not unique to government office. In a modern society, in a traditional society, go to your towns, your smaller towns or your villages. Somebody wants loan, somebody wants money urgently. I don't know, child's fees, or somebody met with an accident and they need to medical bill or whatever. You will go and try to apply for a loan, a hand loan, a small personal loan. You'll go to the money lender. The money lender doesn't like your face, doesn't like your caste, doesn't like your gender, doesn't like whatever, has a problem with your grandfather. He is going to reject your loan. And there's nothing you can do about it. That is traditional society. But in modern society, you walk into a bank. Bank is a modern institution. And in a bank, you will meet the relationship manager. You know exactly whom to meet to begin with. And you will walk into the manager's chamber and you will sit with him and you will say, this is my profile, this is my PAN card, this is my IT return, and I need loan for this much amount. Am I eligible or not? He is an absolute stranger. Yet you both are having an interaction. This social interaction is organized, in a modern setup, which is why bank is a modern institution, a modern organization, where there are very clear rules. Manager karke, it will be written on his table. He will sit on this side. You go, you ask. He will tell you whether you are eligible or not, according to certain rules again. Now, those rules are all clearly codified. He has a certain protocol. And according to the protocol, he is going to see your file. He is going to see whether you match the criteria or not. If you match, you're going to get the loan. If you don't match, you're not going to get the loan. That is bureaucracy. Rule here is like rule of law. It is basically the person who is ruling, the person who is taking the decision, the person in power is governed by rules himself. Okay, that bureau, those files, there are rules and regulations which even govern his behavior, the manager's behavior. So he is a bureaucrat. Recently, there is COVID. Hospitals, you must have gone to some of the private hospitals. You go to a private hospital, you go to the reception. In reception, somebody is sitting on that side of the table. That is bureaucracy. You go, you register with them, they're going to allot you a room number. You go to the room number, put your patient, come back. Once the treatment is done, the patient is discharged, you go, they'll give you a bill. You go to the cash counter. Behind the cash counter, there is somebody whom they will pay fees. You don't know any of these people. You may not even know the names of these people. But the entire interaction is happening without knowing anybody personally. This system is bureaucracy, and they are bureaucrats. So in a hospital management, the general manager of the hospital is also a bureaucrat. In a bank manager is also a bureaucrat, not just a civil servant. in a university, a registrar is a bureaucrat because he deals with administration. Uh, Anybody who is applying rules to do their job, bureaucracy. Civil servant is different, which is why I said, there is a difference between the two, and we will. Again, I gave you a rough idea. Even deeper, we will go when in politics and society there is a unit in paper one. When we go there, we are going to go even more defined into what is bureaucracy, where did it come, what is its roots, uh, what are its features, what are its pros, cons, all of that.